weird, but like male attention. And so then like I begin to internalize it and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
After we got married, we found out we were pregnant with our daughters so quickly. Want kids. I didn't want to get married.
Before we dive into today's video, I need you guys to understand something. This isn't just another drama video. What we're about to discuss reveals a pattern that's been building for nearly a decade, and the recent comments from Ayesha Curry have reignited a conversation that the NBA world just can't seem to stop having. By the end of this video, you'll understand why so many people are annoyed and frustrated, and more importantly, you'll see the full picture that most people are missing. So stick around because this story really has more layers than you think. Before we get to the content, make sure you drop, like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to get the latest NBA news. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Let's set the stage. Just a few days ago, clips from Ayesha Curry's August 2025 appearance on the Call Her Daddy podcast started going viral on social media. In these clips, Ayesha Curry opened up about her marriage to Steph Curry in a way that left a lot of people scratching their heads. She went viral for admitting that marriage and kids were just never part of her original plan. And this is exactly what she said.
I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it.
Now, on the surface, that might not seem like a big deal. As you evolve as a person, plenty of people change their mind about what they truly want in life, especially when life throws many different situations and circumstances in front of you. But here's where it gets interesting.
After we got married, we found out we were pregnant with our daughters so quickly. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore. It's so interesting. I spent my entire life like trying to work towards something and then it kind of just disappeared and I didn't think twice.
Social media immediately exploded. Even I thought that these comments were crazy. Can you imagine what her daughter's gonna think when she grows up and actually sees this podcast? Thousands of comments poured in with people saying that she sounded ungrateful, that she was embarrassing Steph again, and that she should appreciate the incredible life she has. One viral comment read, "She's still married to Steph? It sounds like she's divorced." Even rapper TheFlightMike chimed in on Instagram, commenting that Steph doesn't deserve this embarrassment. Now, Steph Curry himself actually responded to TheFlightMike, defending his wife and saying, "You're better than that, stay in your lane, and let God keep blessing me like he is. We're good over here." TheFlightMike later apologized, admitting that it wasn't my damn business. But here's the thing, and this is what we really need to talk about. This isn't Ayesha Curry's first rodeo when it comes to controversial public comments. In fact, she's been making headlines for questionable remarks about her marriage and her husband for years. And to really understand why people are so frustrated this time around, we need to go back and look at the full story, because this latest incident is just the most recent chapter in a much longer story. Let's rewind to June of 2023. I think this is the last time I made a video on this topic. Ayesha appeared on the daytime talk show The Real as a guest. During the segment, a shirtless waiter walked onto the set to serve drinks to the hosts. The other hosts started laughing and making a scene, as you'd expect on a daytime talk show. But here's what caught everyone's attention. Ayesha jokingly pretended to take off her wedding ring as the man approached. She covered her eyes, laughed along with the co-host, and the whole thing was clearly meant to be a joke. But the joke didn't land the way she probably hoped it would. The clip instantly went viral and NBA fans absolutely roasted her for it. Comments flooded in saying things like she doesn't respect you and questioning why she would do that on national television when she's married to one of the biggest stars in basketball. Some people defended it as harmless fun, but many others saw it as disrespectful to Steph, especially given that this wasn't her first time making questionable comments about their relationship in public. Now, again, this isn't the only incident, because if it was, maybe people would have brushed it off, but we need to go back even further to 2019, because that's when things really started to get messy. In May of 2019, Ayesha appeared on Jada Pinkett Smith's Facebook show Red Table Talk. And if you're appearing on this show, man, nothing good can come from it. I mean, this is the show where Jada Pinkett Smith famously said that she had an entanglement with one of her son's friends to her husband, Will Smith.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened?
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship.
Yes, it was a
Yeah.
relationship. Absolutely. I was in a lot of pain.
Aisha appears alongside Steph's mom, Sonia Curry, and during this appearance, Aisha opened up about feeling insecure in her marriage. She talked about how women constantly throw themselves at Steph, which makes sense. He's Steph freaking Curry, one of the biggest names in basketball. But then she said something that made jaws drop across the internet. Aisha admitted,
Something that really bothers me and like honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, yeah, like there are all these women like throwing themselves, but me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention. And so then like I begin to internalize it and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
You're not looking.
What,
You're not
like,
looking.
because I don't want it, but it'd be nice to know that like someone's looking.
and the internet went absolutely nuclear. Memes flooded Twitter within hours. People were saying, wait, you're married to Steph Curry. You have a beautiful family. You're successful in your own right. And you're complaining about not getting attention from other men? Memes of this are hilarious. I mean, Aisha Curry walks past a group of guys on the street. Guys, don't catcall. Aisha.
What the is wrong with you?
Aisha Curry walks past. Nobody. Aisha, I just want to be noticed. Steph.
She is very gorgeous to me.
Even Steph Curry's mom, Sonia, who is sitting right there during the interview, told Aisha that her way of thinking could get real dangerous. That's your husband's mother essentially warning you on national television that what you're saying could lead down a bad path. Aisha later defended herself on Instagram, saying she was just being vulnerable and honest, and that if her comments help another woman feel less alone, then the backlash was worth it. Steph also supported her publicly, writing on Instagram, "Proud of you for being authentic and putting yourself out there, not being afraid of the potential and nonsense that could and did come at you." But here's the thing, a lot of people didn't see it as vulnerability. They saw it as someone who had everything most people dream of, a loving, faithful husband who's one of the greatest basketball players ever, financial security, a beautiful family, and she was publicly saying she wished other men would give her attention. That didn't sit right with a lot of folks. The thing that started all of this was a hilarious tweet in 2016. I mean, we're going back to the NBA Finals when the Cleveland Cavaliers were facing off against the Golden State Warriors. If you guys missed our NBA 10 years ago video, I'll leave it in the end screen because it's one of our best videos on this channel that we do each and every year. But during game 6, the Warriors were up 3-2 in the series. One went away from back-to-back championships, but the game didn't go their way. Steph fouled out in the fourth quarter and was ejected after throwing his mouthpiece into the crowd. The Warriors ended up losing 115-101, forcing a game 7. Right after the game, while emotions were running high, Aisha took to Twitter and posted this: "I've lost all respect. Sorry. This is absolutely rigged for money or ratings. I'm not sure which. I won't be silent. Just saw it live. Sorry." Yeah, she essentially accused the entire NBA of rigging the finals on Twitter for everyone to see. The tweet went viral instantly, and it put Steph in an incredibly awkward position during one of the most important legacy-defining moments of his career. Here's his wife publicly claiming that the league he plays for, the league that has made them both incredibly wealthy and famous, is rigged. Sports analysts had a field day. Some, like Brian Windhorst and Stephen A. Smith, suggested that maybe Steph should take away Aisha's Twitter access. Aisha later deleted the tweet and apologized, saying she tweeted in the heat of the moment because the call was uncalled for. She later told People magazine that "I was just a fan in that moment, so I didn't think about the ramifications. I regret the way that I voiced how hurt I was." Steph's response? He joked that he might have to cut off the Wi-Fi at home. Now, here's where we need to be completely fair and provide some context. It's easy to take a look at all these moments and paint Aisha Curry as a villain who's constantly embarrassing her husband. But the reality is more complicated than that. She's a human being who's been living in the spotlight for over a decade, married to one of the most famous athletes on the planet. Every word she says gets analyzed by millions of people, and that's not easy. In her recent Call Her Daddy interview, when you listen to the full context, she wasn't saying she regrets her life or her family. She was talking about how her identity shifted rapidly from being a career-focused young woman to being a wife and mother before she even had time to process what she wanted. She said she loves being a mom, but also loves doing other things, and she's trying to find that balance. That's actually a pretty relatable struggle for women. But here's the disconnect, and this is what frustrates so many people. Aisha isn't just any woman trying to balance career and family. She's married to a man who's worth an estimated $240 million, has won 4 NBA championships, is a 2-time MVP, and is widely considered the greatest shooter in basketball history. Steph Curry has achieved things that less than 1% of 1% of people will ever achieve. And through that partnership, Aisha Curry has built an impressive career with an estimated net worth of $50 million. Yeah, that's right. Aisha Curry isn't necessarily just sitting home waiting for Steph Curry to come home and playing housewife all day. She's launched multiple restaurants, including International Smoke with chef Michael Mina. She's had her own Food Network shows. She's published multiple best-selling cookbooks. She's launched Sweet July, a lifestyle brand that includes a magazine, cafes, a skincare line, and retail stores. She was named a CoverGirl spokesperson in 2017, becoming the first spokesperson for the brand who wasn't an actress or singer. Together with Steph, she co-founded the Eat, Learn, Play Foundation, which fights childhood hunger and improves education. So when she makes these comments about giving up her career for Steph, a lot of people think, wait a minute, what career did you actually give up? She moved to LA at 18 to pursue acting, landing parts in shows like Hannah Montana and small films. She met Steph when she was 14 and he was 15 at a church youth group in Charlotte. They reconnected years later and got married in 2011 when she was 22. So when you take a look at her major career success, the cooking shows, the restaurants, the books, all of it, it all came after marrying Steph, not before. In fact, it's fair to argue that being Steph Curry's wife significantly amplified her platform and her opportunities. That's not to diminish her accomplishments. She's clearly talented, hardworking, and has built genuine businesses. But the timing matters. Her fame and her opportunities grew alongside Steph's success with the Warriors. They got married in 2011, the same year that Steph was entering his 3rd NBA season. The Warriors won their first championship in 2015. Aisha's first cookbook came out in 2016. Her Food Network show premiered in 2016. Sweet July launched in 2020. Do you see the pattern here? This is why so many people get frustrated when she makes these comments. Millions of women around the world actually do sacrifice their careers to support their families. They work jobs they don't love to pay the bills. They put their dreams on hold indefinitely. They don't have the financial security or the platform that Aisha has. So when someone in her position talks about sacrifice, it comes across as tone deaf, even if that's not the intention. Let's flip the script for a second because there's another side to this conversation. Being married to someone as famous as Steph Curry comes with its own unique challenges. Every move you make gets scrutinized. You can't have a bad day in public. You can't make an offhand comment without it becoming a news story. Your kids grow up in the spotlight. I mean, do you remember 10 years ago when Riley Curley famously went viral during Steph Curry's post-game interviews? I mean, it was the cutest thing we've ever seen.
Be quiet.
You know, he plays well, and obviously he did that for his
I mean, this family is exposed to a level of publicity that people aren't used to, and it can get really difficult to get used to. You have to deal with constant comparisons, constant criticism, constant judgment, and that takes a mental toll. In the recent interview, Aisha also talked about how Steph doesn't always understand her perspective on criticism and media attention.
He tries to resonate with me, but he just can't. And he also comes from a place of like, it's effing stupid. Like, it's not true, so why? And I'm like, but wait, like, listen to how it makes me feel.
That's actually a pretty common dynamic in relationships. One person is more affected by outside opinions than the other, and sometimes ladies just want men to listen and not necessarily fix the problem. So the question becomes, should we give Aisha grace for being honest about her feelings, even if those feelings might come across as privilege to people in different circumstances? Or should we hold her to a higher standard of awareness about how her words might land, given her platform and her position? Here's my take. Both things can be true. Aisha can legitimately feel the way she feels about her identity and her career trajectory, and those feelings are valid even if it's very difficult for us to understand them. Mental and emotional struggles don't discriminate based on wealth or status. At the same time, when you have a platform as large as hers and the level of success that came as a result of that platform, there's a responsibility to consider how your words might be received, especially when you're talking about sacrifices that most people would consider as blessings. The pattern with Aisha is that she values authenticity and speaking her truth, which is admirable in many ways, but there's a difference between being authentic and lacking self-awareness. The ring incident, the male attention comments, the rigged NBA tweet, and now these recent remarks about giving up her career as an actress. Each individual incident might be defensible in isolation, but when you look at all of them together, it paints a picture of someone who who might not fully grasp how fortunate their situation is, or at least struggles to communicate the appreciation publicly. And that's what frustrates people. It's not that Aisha can't have feelings or struggles, it's that those struggles are happening in the context of a life that billions of people would trade places with in a heartbeat. She's married to a loyal, faithful, incredibly successful man who publicly adores her and their children. She has financial security that most people can't even imagine. She has a platform to build businesses and brands. She has access to opportunities that aren't available to regular people. And yet, the narrative often seems to focus on what she's missing rather than what she has. Compare that to how other NBA wives handle the spotlight. Savannah James, LeBron's wife, has been with him since high school and has largely stayed out of controversy while still building her own brand and charitable efforts. She supports LeBron publicly but doesn't make headlines for questionable comments about their marriage. That's the standard that people compare Aisha to, fairly or unfairly. Now, it's worth noting that some people defended Aisha, saying her comments were taken out of context and that she was just sharing her truth. One fan commented, "I feel like this is being taken out of context. She's talking about how she was focused on her career when she was a child/teenager moving to LA to be an actress. After she started to date Steph, everything changed." That's fair, context matters. But here's the thing, when you've built a track record of controversial comments, people are less likely to give you the benefit of the doubt. That's just reality. If this was the first time Aisha had said something that rubbed people the wrong way, it would blow over quickly. But because it's part of a pattern, people are more critical. The broader conversation here is really about gratitude, perspective, and privilege. It's about understanding that having struggles doesn't mean you can't also recognize how blessed you are. Both things can coexist. You can feel unfulfilled in certain areas of your life while also being deeply grateful for what you have. The key is finding that balance and how you communicate those feelings, especially to a public audience. Steph has handled this whole situation with incredible grace, by the way. When Killer Mike made that comment about Aisha embarrassing him, Steph defended his wife publicly and essentially told people to mind their business. That's what a supportive partner does. He's also consistently praised Aisha over the years, calling her his best friend and celebrating their partnership. Whatever issues they might work through privately, he has her back publicly, and that's commendable. At the end of the day, the situation raises important questions about wealth, privilege, perspective, and how we communicate our struggles. Aisha Curry is not a villain. She's a successful businesswoman, a mother of 4, and someone who's trying to navigate life in an extraordinary spotlight. But she's also someone who needs to be more mindful about how her words land in a world where most people are dealing with real, daily struggles without a fraction of the resources or support system that she has. The frustration people feel isn't about denying Aisha the right to have feelings or struggles, it's about wanting her to recognize, out loud and clearly, just how fortunate she is before talking about sacrifice. It's about wanting gratitude to be louder than complaints when you're living a life that most people can only dream about. But let me know in the comment section down below, do you think Aisha was out of line? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.